إن الحمد لله نحمده ونستعينه ونستغفره ونعوذ بالله من شرور أنفسنا وسيئات أعمالنا من يهده الله فلا مضل له ومن يضلل فلا هادي له وأشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له وأشهد أن محمدا عبده ورسوله صلى الله عليه وعلى آله وصحبه وسلم تسليما كثيرا.
The Shaykh Hafidhullah, he started off with the Qutb al-Hajah, and he said,
أما بعد فنستأنف دراسة منظومة القواعد الفقهية للشيخ العلامة عبد الرحمن السعدي رحمه الله تعالى، وكنا قد وصلنا إلى قوله والأصل في عاداتنا الإباحة حتى يجيء صارف الإباحة.
He said, and after that we'll start continue on our lessons with the book of Islamic Fiqh Principles by Shaykh Abdullaah As-Sa'di rahimahullah ta'ala, and we have reached our statement that in the origin in our customs is permissibility until something comes that changes that permissibility.
هذا البيت عبر به المصنف رحمه الله تعالى عن قاعدة فقهية متفق عليها.
He says that this line was the author, the poet, has expressed by way of it that Islamic principle, the Islamic law principle that is agreed upon and very famous.
وهي قاعدة الأصل في الأشياء الإباحة.
And it is the principle that the foundation in things or the origin in things is permissibility.
يقول المصنف رحمه الله تعالى: وأما العادات كلها كالمآكل والمشارب والملابس والأعمال العادية والمعاملات والصنائع فالأصل فيها الإباحة والإطلاق.
The author, he said, rahimahullah, that as far as the origin in everything like clothing and food and drink, and he mentioned several other things, he said the origin in all of these things, generally speaking, is permissibility.
قلت الصناعات
الصناعات, like products and things that are made.
قال رحمه الله: فمن حرم شيئا منها لم يحرمه الله ولا رسوله فهو مبتدع. And
then he said, rahimahullah, so whoever makes something from those things muharram or haram that the messenger or that Allah and his messenger did not make haram, then he is an innovator.
وبين رحمه الله أن التحريم إما أن يكون بنص صريح أو يدخل في عموم أو قياس صحيح.
And the author, he clarified that this tahrim or this prohibition can either be made by a direct text or obvious direct text, or by including it in something that is more general and comprehensive, or by doing analogies with it to something else.
بنص صريح مثل النص على تحريم شرب الخمر.
So that which is a direct text is like the direct text in regards to drinking alcohol.
أو يدخل في عموم كدخول الدخان والمخدرات في عموم الخبائث.
And as far as it's entering into a more general or comprehensive state principle, is that like the entering of smoking or drugs into the more general ruling of everything that is khabith.
وإما أو قياس صحيح مثاله قياس المشروبات المسكرة على الخمر.
And as far as a sound analogy, then this is like the qiyas that is done with the rest of those alcoholic drinks with liquor.
إذن يا إخواني كل المطعومات الأصل فيها الحل، كل المشروبات الأصل فيها الحل.
So therefore, my brothers, that everything that is eaten, the foundation or the origin in it is permissibility, and likewise everything that is drinking, the origin therein is permissibility.
لو اكتشفنا ثمرة جديدة.
So if we were to discover a new fruit
أو حيوانا جديدا
or a new animal,
فالأصل فيه الحل.
then the origin in it is that it's permissible.
إلا إذا أتى ما يدل على تحريمه.
Unless something came that showed us or that gave evidence about its prohibition.
هذه القاعدة مجمع عليها عند العلماء.
This principle is something that there is a consensus about it amongst the scholars.
ودليلها قوله تعالى: هو الذي خلق لكم ما في الأرض جميعا.
And its evidence is that statement of Allah Tabaraka wa Ta'ala that is translated, He is the one who's created for you everything that is in the earth.
وقوله تعالى: قل من حرم زينة الله التي أخرج لعباده والطيبات من الرزق.
And likewise the statement of Allah Ta'ala, who is the one who has made it haram, the zina of Allah that He has taken, that He has extracted for His servants, and that which is good from the provisions.
أما من السنة فما صح عند الترمذي رحمه الله تعالى من قوله عليه الصلاة والسلام: الحلال ما أحله الله في كتابه والحرام ما حرم الله في كتابه وما سكت عنه فهو مما عفى عنه.
And as far as from the Sunnah, then it's based on that which is in Sunnah Tirmidhi, which is authentic upon the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, that he said, the halal is that which Allah has made halal, and the haram is that which Allah has made haram, and the things that He has been quiet about, then this is a pardon for you all.
نأتي إلى مسألة مهمة وهي أن هذه القاعدة تشمل المخترعات الحديثة.
He said, and we're coming to a very important principle in that, and that is that this qaida, or that this principle includes these new inventions.
مثل هذه الأجهزة.
Like these devices.
وهذه الكاميرات والمسجلات.
Likewise, the cameras and these recorders.
وهذا الميكروفون.
And the microphones.
والسيارات والطائرات.
And cars and planes.
والكمبيوترات الحواسيب.
And the computers.
هذه المخترعات الأصل فيها الحل والإباحة.
So these inventions, the origin therein is permissibility and that it's allowable.
إلا إذا تضمنت على شيء من أمور الفساد والشر.
Unless it contains something from the affairs of corruption and evil.
الجهاز يا إخواني الذي يستخدم في الخير ويستخدم في الشر أيضا.
So these devices, my brothers, that can be used for good and be used for bad.
لا شك أنه جائز في حق من يستخدمه في الخير.
Then there's no doubt that they're permissible in the regards of the one who uses them in good.
وهو محرم على من يستخدمه في الشر.
And it is haram upon the one who uses them for evil.
ثم قال رحمه الله: وليس مشروعا من الأمور غير الذي في شرعنا مذكور.
And then he says, rahimahullah, there's nothing legislated from any affairs other than that which has been other than that which was mentioned in our legislation.
يريد رحمه الله الكلام على قاعدة الأصل في العبادات الحظر، يعني المنع.
He says he wanted here, rahimahullah, to give reference to the principle that the asl, or the foundation of the origin in worship is hadr, or men, or prevention, and not being able to do it.
والعبادات على قسمين.
And the forms of worship are two types of categories.
إما أن تكون مشروعة في الإسلام.
Either that it would be legislated in Islam.
أو أن تكون مبتدعة.
Or it would be innovated.
فالعبادات المشروعة قد شرعها الإسلام وأمر بها، إما أمر إيجاب أو أمر استحباب.
So as far as the actions or the worships that are from Islam, then the Islam has ordered them and legislated them, either a command that is obligatory or a command that is preferable or mustahab.
وأما البدع فإنها محرمة.
And as far as innovation, then all of it is haram.
لأنها كلها ضلال.
Because all of it is misguidance.
يقول شيخ الإسلام ابن تيمية رحمه الله:
Shaykh al-Islam ibn Taymiyyah rahimahullah has said,
باستقراء أصول الشريعة,
by gathering up the foundations or the fundamentals of the Sharia,
نعلم أن العبادات التي أوجبها الله أو أحبها لا يثبت الأمر بها إلا بالشرع.
We know that these forms of worship that Allah has made them legislated or has loved them, He has made them obligatory or has loved them, then they are not established except by way of this legislation.
يعني أن الإنسان إذا أراد أن يتعبد الله بعبادة نقول له لا يجوز لك أن تفعل ذلك إلا إذا كانت هذه العبادة شرعها النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم.
And what that means is that if an individual wanted to worship Allah with a particular type of worship, we would say that it's not permissible for you to do that unless that this was legislated by our religion.
أما البدع فهي منهي عنها.
As far as innovation, then all of it is forbidden.
والذي يتأمل يا إخواني في تحريف أديان أهل الكتاب.
And the one who pays attention, my brothers, to the altering that was done in the religion of the people of the book,
تظهر له حكمة الله في النهي عن البدع.
It will be apparent for him the wisdom of the wisdom behind why Allah made it haram, or the prohibition of innovation.
لأن البدع من أعظم أسباب تحريف الدين.
Because innovation is from the most greatest of means of altering the religion.
وقد جاء النهي عن البدع في كتاب الله تعالى وسنة نبيه صلى الله عليه وسلم.
And the prohibition against innovation has come within the book of Allah and the sunnah of His Messenger sallallahu alaihi wasallam.
وفي آثار الصحابة والتابعين.
And likewise in the statements of the Sahaba and the Tabi'een.
حتى لا يطول بنا المقام سنكتفي بحديث واحد.
And so that our gathering won't be long, we'll suffice ourselves with just one hadith.
وهو قوله صلى الله عليه وسلم.
And that is his statement sallallahu alaihi wasallam.
من أحدث في أمرنا هذا ما ليس منه فهو رد.
Whoever invents into our affair that which is not from it, then it is rad or rejected.
الحديث متفق عليه ولفظ مسلم من عمل عملا ليس عليه أمرنا فهو رد.
And this hadith is agreed upon, and in the wordage that is found in Muslim, whoever does an action that is not from our actions, then it is rejected.
والمقصود بقوله عليه الصلاة والسلام رد يعني مردود كما يقال سد الماء يعني مسدود.
And he said that which is intended by the statement of the Prophet ﷺ, rad, it means that it's mardud, meaning it's rejected. Just like in the Arabic they say the word sed or barrier, which means something that is masdud or blockaded or blocked.
دائما نحرص على الاستدلال بلفظ المسلم وهو من عمل عملا ليس عليه أمرنا فهو رد.
And all the time you see us using the evidence of the wordage that was in Sahih Muslim, which is the statement that whoever does an action that is not from our affairs, then it is rejected.
لأن البعض إذا بدأ يعمل بعض البدع القديمة وقلت له قال صلى الله عليه وسلم من أحدث في أمرنا هذا يقول لك أنا لم أحدث هذه البدع هي موجودة من قبل.
And because if you was to see a person who was doing some of the innovation that was present from a long time ago, and you said to him the statement of the Prophet, whoever invents into our religion something that is into our affair that which is from it, that which is not from it, he would say, I did not invent this, it was present from a long time ago.
لكن إذا قلنا له قال عليه الصلاة والسلام من عمل عملا ليس عليه أمرنا تنقطع حجته.
But if we were to say to him, whoever does an action that is not from the actions of our affair, then his argument would be cut off.
البدعة يا إخواني هي ما أحدث في الدين.
And so innovation, oh my brothers, is that which was innovated into the religion.
والبدعة لا تكون إلا بنية التقرب إلى الله.
And this bid'ah or this innovation will only be with one having the intention to draw closer to Allah.
يحدثها الإنسان من باب التعبد لله والتقرب لله سبحانه وتعالى.
A person brings this new action as a way of worshiping Allah and drawing closer to Allah.
والبدع كلها ضلال.
And all innovation is misguidance.
لقوله عليه الصلاة والسلام وكل محدثة بدعة وكل بدعة ضلالة.
And this is due to his statement sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and every muhdathatin, every newly invented affair is a bid'ah, and every bid'ah is a dhalala.
يا إخواني بارك الله فيكم لو وجدنا 1000 عالم مسلم سني يقولون البدع منها ما هو حسن ومنها ما هو ضلال.
He said, oh my brothers, may Allah barak fikum, if we were to find 1,000 scholars that were on the sunnah and they were to say that from the innovation is that which is good and from it is that which is haram.
ووجدنا حديثا واحدا للنبي صلى الله عليه وسلم يقول كل بدعة ضلالة.
And we only found this one hadith from the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam that said that every bid'ah is a misguidance.
فهل نقدم كلام العلماء أم كلام سيد الأنبياء؟
So do we give precedence to the statement of the ulama or the statement of the best of everyone?
وعلى هذه القاعدة أو على هذا المثال فسر لو جاءنا حديث واحد ينهى عن الخروج على السلطان المسلم الظالم ووجدنا 1000 عالم يقول الخروج يجوز في هذه الحال نقدم حديث النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم.
And upon this principle then travel. If we have, for any situation, if we have one hadith that tells us it's not permissible to go and do khuruj against the leader, and then we have 1,000 scholars telling us that it's okay, then we take precedence with the hadith of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam.
والبدع يا إخواني تنقسم إلى قسمين.
And innovation, of my brothers, is two types.
القسم الأول البدعة الأصلية.
The first type is that which is known as bid'atul asliyah.
والقسم الثاني البدعة الإضافية.
And the second type is what is known as bid'atul idafiyah.
البدعة الأصلية والبدعة الإضافية.
He says, so we have these two types of the bid'atul asliyah wa bid'atul idafiyah.
البدعة الأصلية إخوان هي التي ليس لها أصل في الشرع.
This which is called bid'atul asliyah, oh my brothers, is the one that there is the innovation that there is no foundation for it in our religion or in our legislation.
كالاحتفال بمولده صلى الله عليه وسلم.
Like to celebrate his birthday sallallahu alaihi wasallam.
أو كالتقرب إلى الله باللطم وشق الجيوب.
Or to try to draw closer to Allah by smacking oneself and scratching the cheeks.
هذه الأفعال ليس لها أصل في الشرع.
So these things, there's no foundation for them in the religion.
هذه تسمى بدعة أصلية.
So these things are called bid'atul asliyah.
بدعة أصلية أي ليس لها أصل في الشرع.
Bid'atul asliyah meaning that there's no foundation for it in the religion.
أما البدعة الإضافية فهي أخطر.
As far as bid'atul idafiyah, then it is more dangerous.
لأن البدعة الإضافية هي عمل له أصل في الشرع.
Because this bid'atul idafiyah is an action that has a foundation in the religion or in the shara.
لكن يضاف إليه
But something is added to it.
تقييد بزمن أو مكان أو بحال.
So now it's become has an extra characteristic of time or place or condition.
المصافحة بين المسلم والمسلم مشروعة.
So the shake hands between two Muslims is something that is legislated.
رغب فيها النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم.
The Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam encouraged that it be done.
لكن الصحابة رضي الله عنهم وقد عاشوا بعد النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم وهو عليه الصلاة والسلام لم ينقل عنه أنه كان يصافح الصحابة بعد السلام من الصلاة.
He said, but the Sahaba, and they lived after the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and likewise the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, it was not narrated about them that they used to shake hands after the salah.
ولم يكن الصحابة يصافح بعضهم بعضا بعد الصلاة.
And the Sahaba did not used to shake each other's hands after the salah.
فإذا أنكرت على أحد مصافحته لغيره بعد الصلاة على سبيل المداومة قال لك يا أخي المصافحة أمر بها النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم.
So if you would
وأخبر أنها تحط الذنوب.
And so if you was to reprimand or reproach someone for shaking hands with someone else after the salah, and you would tell them that the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam did not do this, he would say, but oh my brother, this shaking of hands is something that is legislated, and the Prophet said that it shakes off sins.
لذلك يا إخوان قلنا أن هذا النوع من البدع أخطر لأنه ينطلي على الناس.
And for this reason, oh my brothers, we said that this particular form of innovation is more dangerous because it is spread out amongst the people.
ومثال ذلك ما رواه الترمذي بإسناد حسن.
And the example of that is that which was narrated by Tirmidhi with the Hasan chain.
عن ابن عمر رضي الله عنه وأرضاه.
On Ibn Umar رضي الله عنهما وأرضاه.
أن رجلا عطس بجواره.
That a man sneezed who was on his side.
فقال هذا الرجل الحمد لله والصلاة والسلام على رسول الله.
So this man said Alhamdulillah والصلاة والسلام على رسول الله.
الآن هل الصلاة على النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم مشروعة يا إخوان؟
So now is to give salat upon the Prophet something that is legislated, my brothers.
لكن هل هي مشروعة في هذه الحال؟
But is it legislated in this situation?
لذلك قال له ابن عمر وأنا أقول الحمد لله والصلاة والسلام على رسول الله ولكن ما هكذا علمنا رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم.
And so for that reason Ibn Umar, he said to them, and I also say Alhamdulillah wa salatu wa salam ala Rasulillah, but we have not been commanded like this by the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam.
فهو أنكر عليه هذه الإضافة للصلاة على النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم ولم ينكر عليه الصلاة أو السلام عليه الصلاة والسلام.
And so he reprimanded him for this type of addition of the salat upon the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, but he did not negate or reprimand him for just the general salat and salam upon the Prophet.
وعلى هذا فقس في بدع كثيرة أضيف إليها هي أمور مشروعة لكن أضيف إليها ما ليس منها.
And upon this, then make analogies for a lot of different innovations that things have been added to them, meaning they were things that were okay, but then stuff was added to them.
والكلام في البدع يا إخواني له تفاصيل دقيقة.
And the conversation or the statements about innovation of my brothers, they have a lot of detailed aspects.
ومن أحسن من تكلم في هذا الباب شيخ الإسلام ابن تيمية رحمه الله رحمة واسعة.
And from the best people that talked about this issue is Shaykh al-Islam ibn Taymiyyah rahimahullah rahmatan wasi'ah.
لكن علينا أن نعلم أن البدع منها ما هو مكفر ومنها ما ليس بمكفر.
But upon us is that we should know that from the innovations of those things that make an individual a kafir and those things that do not make an individual a kafir.
والبدع منها ما هو من الكبائر ومنها ما هو من الصغائر.
And as far as innovation, that there is from them those that are considered to be from the kaba'ir or the major sins, and from them those that are the saghair or the minor sins.
ثم انتقل رحمه الله فقال وسائل الأمور كالمقاصد واحكم بهذا الحكم للزوائد.
And then the author, he goes on to say that the means for affairs are just like their goals, and judge with this ruling for anything that is extra.
وسائل الأمور كالمقاصد واحكم بهذا الحكم للزوائد. هذا البيت عبر به المصنف رحمه الله تعالى عن قاعدة الوسائل لها أحكام المقاصد.
This line of poetry, the author, he expressed by way of it the principle that the means, they have the same rulings as the goals or the ends.
الأمر المقصود هو الذي يقصده الناس يريده الناس.
So this thing that is known as the maqsad or the maqasid is the things that a person wants and the thing that he's intending, his goal.
وأما الوسيلة فهي الطرق التي توصل إلى هذه المقاصد.
And as far as the wasila, then this is the path or the means that he uses to reach these maqasid or these goals.
أنا أريد الزواج.
So if I were to want to get married,
هذا مقصد لي.
this is a goal for me.
من وسائل هذا المقصد الدعاء.
From the means to accomplish this goal is to make dua.
فالدعاء وسيلة إلى الزواج.
So this dua is a means to accomplish this marriage.
هذا هو المقصود بالوسائل والمقاصد.
So this is that which is intended by the statement al-wasa'il or means and maqasid or goals or ends.
ومعنى القاعدة من الجهة الاصطلاحية
And the meaning of this principle from the terminology aspect,
أن الوسيلة إلى الغاية إلى المقصد تأخذ حكمها.
that the means to a goal or to an end, they take the same ruling as it.
فوسائل الواجبات تكون واجبة.
So the means that for something that is obligatory are therefore themselves obligatory.
ووسائل المحرمات تكون محرمة.
And the means to something that is haram are also haram.
ووسائل المستحبات تكون مستحبة.
And the means to something that is mustahab are also mustahab.
ولذلك نقول يا إخوان
And for that reason we say, oh my brothers,
الأمر بالشيء
to command with something to be done
أمر به وبما لا يتم إلا به.
is a command with that thing, and a command with the thing that thing can't be accomplished except by way of it.
الأمر بالشيء أمر به وبما لا يتم إلا به.
To command with something is to give a command for something is to give a command for that thing, and for the things that thing can't be accomplished except by way of it.
والنهي عن الشيء
And to forbid something
نهي عنه وعن كل ما يؤدي إليه.
is to forbid that thing and to forbid everything that would lead to that thing.
الله تعالى حرم الزنا ونهى عنه.
Allah Ta'ala, He has made zina haram and He has forbidden it.
وحرم كل ما يؤدي إلى الوقوع في الزنا.
And He has also made everything that will lead to an individual falling into zina haram.
مثل الخلوة بين الرجل والمرأة.
For example, a man and a woman being alone,
ومصافحة المرأة.
and to shake a woman's hand,
وخضوع المرأة بالقول.
and to be nice and sweet with a woman and conversating with her,
وتبرج المرأة بالزينة.
and a woman going out with her adornments.
كل هذه الأمور محرمة لأنها تؤدي إلى الوقوع في الزنا عافانا الله وإياكم.
He said, so all of these affairs are haram due to what they lead for an individual falling into zina. We ask Allah to protect us and pardon us.
وهذه القاعدة متفق عليها عند الفقهاء.
And this principle is also agreed upon amongst the scholars of Islamic law.
وأدلتها من الكتاب والسنة كثيرة.
And this evidence is from the book and the sunnah are very plentiful.
من ذلك قوله صلى الله عليه وسلم من سلك طريقا يلتمس فيه علما سهل الله به طريقا إلى الجنة.
From them is the statement of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, whoever traverses a path seeking knowledge therein, Allah makes easy for him by way of it a path to Jannah.
ومن ذلك قوله عليه الصلاة والسلام إذا توضأ أحدكم فأحسن وضوءه ثم خرج عامدا إلى المسجد فلا يشبكن يديه فإنه في صلاة.
And from them is the statement of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, if one of you makes wudu, فأحسن وضوءه, and then he perfects his wudu, and then he goes out to the masjid, then let him not interlock in between his fingers, because verily he is in salah.
هذا الرجل في ذهابه إلى الصلاة هو في وسيلة.
So this individual, in his going to the salah, he is now in the means.
وغايته هي الصلاة.
And his goal or his end is the salah.
لكن النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم جعل ممشاه واستعداده للصلاة جعلها صلاة.
But the Prophet ﷺ made his walking and his getting prepared for the salah a salah.
لأنه قال فإنه في صلاة.
Because verily he said that because verily he is in salah.
نعم. قال الشيخ السعدي عليه رحمة الله: هذه القاعدة من أنفع القواعد وأعظمها وأكثرها فائدة ولعلها يدخل فيها ربع الدين.
He said, Sheikh Sa'di rahimahullah, he said that this qaida is from the most beneficial and all-encompassing and most needed principles, and maybe it enters into 1/4 of the religion.
ومن تطبيقات هذه القاعدة في باب الطهارة.
And from the application of this principle and the issues of purification,
أن الشرع أمر بالوضوء للصلاة.
Is that the religion has, or the Shah has made, has commanded us that we make wudu for salah.
فإذا كان الإنسان لا يستطيع أن يتوضأ إلا بأن يشتري ماء.
So if an individual was not able to make wudu unless he was to purchase water,
لزمه شراء هذا الماء.
It's necessary upon him that he purchase this water.
ويشترطون في هذه الحال أن يكون هذا الماء بثمن مثله، يعني ثمنه معتاد لم يستغل ويرفع كثيرا.
And it's a condition in this situation that this water be with a price that's equal to its normal self, meaning that the price not be raised and inflated too high.
ومن فروع هذه القاعدة في باب الصلاة أن الشرع أمر بالصلاة.
And from the branches of this principle in the affairs of salah is that the religion has legislated salah.
وأمر بكل ما لا تتم الصلاة إلا به.
And it's commanded with everything that the salah is not completed except by way of it.
مثل الطهارة.
Like purification.
وستر العورة.
And covering one's awrah.
وغيرها من الشروط.
And other than it from the conditions of salah.
ومن فروع هذه القاعدة كذلك.
And from the branches of this principle likewise,
ما يتعلق بتجهيز الموتى بالتغسيل والتكفين والصلاة وحمل الجنازة.
That which is in relation to the deceased individual from washing him and wrapping him and carrying him and burying him in the janazah.
فإنه أمر بهذه الأشياء وأمر بما لا تتم هذه الأشياء إلا بها.
Because verily it's a command with these things and a command as well as for the things that these things won't be accomplished except by way of them.
ومنها تحريم بيع الأشياء المباحة لمن يعصي الله بها.
And from this is the prohibition of selling things that are permissible for the individuals who will disobey Allah by way of them.
كبيع العصير لمن يتخذه خمرا.
Like selling grapes or grape juice or something like that to an individual who would take it as liquor.
وبيع السلاح في الفتنة.
And selling weapons in the time of fitna.
يعني في الحرب.
Like in war.
أو بيع السلاح لقاطع الطريق.
Or to sell weapons to an individual who is a highway robber or somebody who is a highway robber, a jacker or something like that.
ومن فروع هذه القاعدة تحريم الحيل التي يتوسل بها إلى فعل محرم. تحريم الحيل.
Okay, he says that from the principles of this, from the branches of this qaida is the prohibition against the tricks that lead to making something that was prohibited permissible.
كبيع العينة.
Like the type of selling that is known as bay' al-ayn.
والتحليل في النكاح.
And this tahleel in marriage, the nikah tahleel.
إلى غير هذه الفروع المهمة في القاعدة.
And to other than it from the branches of this very important principle.
لكن من أهم فروع هذه القاعدة.
But from the most important branches of this principle.
ما يتعلق بحق الله تعالى التوحيد.
Is that which is in relation or connected to the rights of Allah Ta'ala, which is tawheed.
فإن الله حرم الشرك.
So verily Allah has made shirk haram.
وحرم كل وسيلة تؤدي إلى الشرك.
And He has made haram likewise every means that leads to shirk.
كتعظيم القبور.
Like glorifying or exalting the graves.
والبناء عليها.
And building on top of them.
والصلاة بالمقابر.
And praying in the graveyards.
لأن هذا كله من ذرائع الشرك عافانا الله وإياكم.
Because all of this is from the things that lead to shirk. We ask Allah to protect us from it as well as you all.
ثم قال رحمه الله.
And then he said rahimahullah.
والخطأ والإكراه والنسيان شدكم في المنظومان كيف مكتوب عندكم؟ والخطأ ولا التسكين؟
والخطأ
ثقيلا. والخطأ والإكراه والنسيان أسقطه معبودنا الرحمن، لكن مع الإتلاف يثبت البدل وينتفي التأثيم عنه والزلل.
And then the author, he goes on to say, and mistakes and compulsion and forgetfulness has been removed by the one we worship, Ar-Rahman. But in the situation where something is destroyed, it is necessary that it be replaced. But the sin and zalal are removed off of him in this case.
هذان البيتان ذكر فيهما المؤلف رحمه الله تعالى ما يتعلق بعوارض الأهلية.
He said that in these two lines of poetry, the author, rahimahullah, mentions and therein that which is connected to the things that happen to the things that happen to individuals.
وعوارض الأهلية يقصد بها الأشياء التي إذا حصلت في الإنسان ارتفع عنه التكليف.
And this is what is known as awarid al-ahliyah, or the things that happen, what is meant by that is the things that might happen to an individual that will raise up off of him this obligation or this taklif.
وهي ثلاثة.
And there are three things.
الأول الخطأ.
The first of them is mistake.
والثاني الإكراه.
The second of them is being compelled.
والثالث النسيان.
The third of them is to be is to forget.
هذه القاعدة متفق عليها عند أهل العلم.
And this principle is agreed upon amongst the people of knowledge.
وهي منصوصة من كلام النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم.
And this is something that has been directly said by the statements of the Prophet صلى الله عليه وسلم.
قال عليه الصلاة والسلام إن الله وضع عن أمتي الخطأ والنسيان وما استكرهوا عليه.
So he said sallallahu alaihi wasallam that Allah has removed off of my nation al-khata, or mistakes, والنسيان and forgetfulness, and that which they've been compelled to do.
هذه المسائل المفترض أن تكون في أصول الفقه.
So these issues, it's necessary that they should be mentioned in the in usul al-fiqh.
لكن المصنف أدخلها في هذه المنظومة.
But we find that the author has entered them and placed them into this poetry.
أولا الخطأ.
So first from amongst them is mistakes.
هو ضد الصواب.
And that is the opposite of correctness.
والخطأ هو الفعل الذي لم يتعمده الإنسان.
And the mistake is the action that a person did not intentionally or purposely do it.
يعني يكون قد أراد الصواب ثم وقع في الخطأ.
So he intended that he do that which is correct, but he fell into a mistake.
والإنسان إذا فعل المعصية خطأ فإنه لا إثم عليه.
So an individual, if he did a form of disobedience mistakenly, then there is no sin upon him.
ويدل على هذا الكلام جملة من الأدلة الشرعية.
And it proves this statement numerous or a lot of different evidences from the religion.
من ذلك النظر الفجأة.
And from that is the look that happens all of a sudden.
وأنت في السيارة تقود سيارتك.
So you were in your sayyar, you were in your car, and you're riding in your car.
ثم نظرت تريد أن ترى السيارة الآتية من الجهة الأخرى.
And then you looked and you wanted to see the car that was coming from another direction.
فلما نظرت إلى السائق تريد أن ترى ماذا يقول لك اذهب قف أو كذا. وإذا بها امرأة.
So when you looked at the other driver, you wanted to see what it was going to tell you. Was it going to tell you to stay or to go? You looked and you saw that it was a woman.
أو أن نكون أنا والأخ سمير نتحدث هكذا.
Or he says that I'll say that it was me because it's better that I talk like this. Oh, I'm sorry.
Or another example is if him and Samir are talking.
Okay, so he said if it was me and the brother was talking like talking.
ثم التفت هكذا.
And then I looked like this.
فأجد امرأة.
And I saw a woman.
هذه تسمى نظر الفجأة.
So this is what is known as that glance, that sudden glance.
جرير رضي الله عنه سأل النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم عن نظر الفجأة فقال اصرف بصرك.
So Jarir radiallahu anhu, he asked the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam about this sudden glance, and he told him to change the way that you're looking, change the direction of your looking.
وهكذا في حديث بريدة قال صلى الله عليه وسلم لعلي لا تتبع النظرة إن لك الأولى وليس لك الآخرة.
And likewise from the hadith of Buraidah that the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam said to Ali, Ya Ali, don't follow up your glance with another one because verily you get the first one but not the second one.
فالنظر الفجأة مع أن النظر محرم إلا أنه في هذه الحال يرفع الإثم عن الإنسان. لماذا؟
He said, as far as the sudden glance, and even if this glance was haram, but in this situation, the sin is part of the individual. Why? Because it's a mistake. And likewise, my brothers, is to kill a mu'min out of mistakenly. There's no sin therein upon the one who kills. And likewise, the muhrim, if he killed those 100 animals in a way that was mistaken, then there's no sin upon him.
الشيخ يقول لكن مع الإكراه يثبت العفو، لكن مع الإتلاف يثبت البدل وينتفي التأثيم عنه والزلل.
And the Sheikh, he goes on to say, but in a situation where property was destroyed, it is necessary that it be replaced, but sin and zela or mistakes are forgiven off or removed off of him.
لو جاء إنسان متعمدا فحطم سيارة الأخ سمير يأثم أم لا يأثم؟
So if an individual came and he was purposely coming to crash into the car of Samir, would he be sinning or not sinning?
يأثم. لكن لو جاء إنسان عن طريق الخطأ فصدم سيارة الأخ سمير فأتلفها.
He said, but if an individual came in a way that was mistaken, and so he crashed into the car of the brother Samir, then there's no sin on him. Oh no, yeah, he destroyed it.
فإن هذا الإنسان لا يأثم لكنه يلزمه أن يدفع للأخ سمير ما أتلفه.
But so in this situation, the individual is not sinning, but it's necessary upon him that he replace to Samir that which he destroyed.
ثم ما يتعلق بالنسيان.
Then that which is connected to nisyan.
وهو زوال العلم.
And that is the removal or the leaving of knowledge.
وقد يطلق على الغفلة.
And it might also be used to be heedless.
والنسيان مرفوع القلم عن صاحبه.
And the forgetfulness, the person that has it, the pen is raised off of him.
وكلكم تعلمون أن الناس إذا فعل شيئا من المحظورات فإنه لا شيء عليه.
And all of you know that if an individual had done something that was prohibited from that he did it forgetfully, then there is nothing upon him.
مثال ذلك من أكل أو شرب في نهار رمضان ناسيا.
An example of this is the one who ate or drank in the daytime of Ramadan forgetfully.
وكذلك من فعل محظورا من محظورات الإحرام ناسيا.
And likewise the one who did something that was prohibited from the things that are prohibited during the state of ihram out of forgetfulness.
أو من نسي صلاة من الصلوات.
Or someone who forgot a salat from amongst the salawat.
أو نسي الزكاة.
Or he forgot to give zakat.
فإنه لا إثم عليه.
Then there's no sin upon him.
نسيان العبادات يا إخواني.
To forget worship, oh my brothers,
ينقسم إلى قسمين.
it is two categories.
هناك عبادات إذا نسيها الإنسان لا يستطيع أن يتداركها.
From the forms of worship are those that if a person was to forget them, he is not able to catch back up to them and re-perform them.
مثال ذلك من نسي صلاة الجمعة.
So for an example of that is the individual who forgot Salat al-Jum'ah.
فإنه لا يستطيع أن يتدارك هذه الصلاة.
Then it's not, he's not able to re-catch up to this salat.
وإنما يصليها ظهرا.
And instead he has to pray it as dhuhr.
وهكذا بالنسبة لصلاة الكسوف.
And likewise the eclipse salat.
أما القسم الثاني فالصلوات أو العبادات التي يستطيع أن يتداركها الإنسان.
And as far as the second type, then these are the forms of worship that an individual is able to redo them or re-perform them.
كمن نسي صلاة المغرب.
Like for an individual who forgot Salat al-Maghrib
أو العشاء.
or Isha.
فإنه في هذه الحال يصليها كما هي.
So he in this situation he prays them as they were.
والكلام في النسيان كثير جدا لكن ما تقدم فيه الكفاية إن شاء الله.
And the statements about forgetfulness are very plentiful, but from that which has preceded is sufficient.
الثالث من عوارض الأهلية الإكراه.
And the third from the awarid al-ahliyah is ikrah, to be compelled.
فالإنسان إذا أكره يعني أرغم على فعل شيء.
So an individual, if he was compelled or he was forced to do something,
فإنه لا إثم عليه.
then he in this situation there is no sin upon him.
وهذا يا إخواني قد تكلمنا عليه قديما في المسجد الشيخ سالم أكثر من مرة.
And he said, this, oh my brothers, we have talked about it previously in the masjid of Sheikh Salam more than one time.
لكن من باب مزيد الإيضاح المكره على الطلاق إذا طلق لا يقع طلاق.
But from the aspect of just giving more clarification and giving more clarification that the individual who was forced to divorce his wife, then his divorce does not occur, it does not take place.
ولو أكرهت امرأة على إرضاع طفل 5 رضعات مشبعات فإن هذا الرضاع لا يصح.
And if a woman was to be forced to breastfeed a child 5 rada'at, then this breastfeeding is not correct.
ومن المسائل التي لا يدخلها الإكراه القتل.
And from this, the issues that to be compelled to do something does not enter therein is to kill or murder.
فإن الإنسان إذا أكره على قتل غيره من المسلمين لم يجوز له ذلك.
So if an individual was forced to kill other than him from the Muslimin, then it is not permissible for him to do so.
نعم. ثم بعد ذلك انتقل رحمه الله إلى البيت 27 وهو قوله ومن مسائل الأحكام في التبع يثبت لا إذا استقل فوقع.
He says, and then the author rahimahullah, he goes to the 27th principle, and that is from the issues of rulings, is that and the things that follow, they're established, not if they were to be done alone, they would not occur.
في هذا البيت عبر المؤلف عن قاعدة فقهية عظيمة جدا.
And in this line of poetry, the author, he expresses about an Islamic law principle that is very important.
وهي قاعدة يجوز تبعا ما لا يجوز استقلالا.
And it is the principle that it is permissible for things that come as a following, that which would not be permissible if they were done separately.
يعني هناك أمور لا يجوز أن تفعلها استقلالا لكن يجوز أن تفعلها على سبيل التبع.
So meaning that there are from the situations those things that are not permissible for you to do them separately or by themselves, but they would be permissible for you to do if they were following something else.
وبالمثال يتضح الحال.
And by way of example, the situation is clarified.
هل يجوز للإنسان أن يصلي على الميت؟
Is it permissible for an individual to pray يصلي على الميت?
يصلي عنه.
Is it permissible for an individual to pray on behalf of a dead individual?
الجواب لا.
The answer is that it's not permissible.
هل يجوز له أن يعتمر على الميت؟
Is it permissible for him to make umrah on behalf of a dead individual?
الجواب يجوز.
The answer is that it's permissible.
طيب إذا اعتمر على الميت ثم طاف 7 أشواط هل سيصلي خلف المقام أم لا؟
So if he makes umrah on behalf of the dead person, and then he does this tawaf this 7 times, and then he goes, and then will he pray this salat behind the maqam or not?
هذه الصلاة عن الميت لا تجوز استقلالا لكنها جازت في هذه الحال لأنها تبع للعمرة.
And he says, so this salat on this dead individual, on this deceased individual, is not permissible if it was to be done by itself, but it's permissible due to the fact that it follows something else in the form of this umrah.
فيجوز تبعا ما لا يجوز استقلالا.
So it's permissible, those things that might come as a way of following something else, that which would not be permissible if it was done by itself.
مثال ذلك في البيع.
So an example of that in transactions.
لا يجوز أن يبيع الإنسان ما في بطن الدابة.
It's not permissible for an individual to sell something that is inside the stomach of the animal.
لنهي النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم عن ذلك.
Due to the prohibition of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam about that.
ولأن الحمل في بطن الدابة مجهول.
And because that thing that is being carried in the stomach or the womb of the animal is something that is not known.
لا يدرى هل هو ذكر أم أنثى.
It's not known if it's male or female.
هل هو جنين واحد أم أكثر من جنين.
Is it more than an embryo, or is it just an embryo, or is it more than just an embryo?
هل سيخرج حيا أم ميتا.
Will it come out alive or will it come out dead?
فبيع هذا الحمل على سبيل الاستغلال لا يجوز حرام.
So to sell this thing that's being carried, or this thing that's being carried, it's not permissible to sell it as a way by itself.
لكن لو اشترى الدابة وهي حامل جاز في هذه الحال شراء هذا الجنين.
But if he was to buy the animal, or this pregnant animal, while in the state while it was pregnant, it was permissible for him now to buy this animal and that thing which is carrying.
لأنه يجوز تبعا ما لا يجوز استقلالا.
Because it is permissible to be done as a way of following something else, that which is not permissible if it was done by itself.
هل وضحت الصورة يا إخوان؟
Is this situation clear, my brothers?
الحمد لله. ثم قال رحمه الله والعرف معمول به إذا ورد حكم من الشرع الشريف لم يحد.
And then he says, rahimahullah, and custom is acted by it if it comes a ruling from the religion that is the honored religion that has not been detailed.
هذا البيت عبر به المؤلف رحمه الله عن قاعدة العرف.
And by this line of poetry, the author has expressed by way of it the principle that is dealing with customs.
وبعضهم يسميها قاعدة العادة محكمة.
And some of them call this principle, they say that it's the principle of that customs or judges or al-'ada muhakkam.
جاءت في نصوص كثيرة قوله تعالى بالمعروف وعاشروهن بالمعروف ولهن مثل الذي عليهن بالمعروف.
And it has come in a lot of different ayat, the statement of ma'ruf, to live with them in a way that is ma'ruf and to interact with them in a way that is ma'ruf.
والعرف يا إخواني باختصار هو ما تعارف عليه الناس.
And this urf or this commonality or this custom in the summarization of my brothers is that which the people have come to know it and have come to accept it amongst themselves.
ما اعتاده الناس.
That which has become a custom amongst the people.
هذا العرف معتبر بشرطين.
This urf or this custom is accepted or considered with two conditions. When there's two conditions.
الأول أن يكون عرفا عاما في البلد.
Is that this custom or be something that is general in the land.
لا يكون عرفا خاصا لعائلة من العوائل.
It should not be a custom that is something specific to one family from amongst the families.
والثاني أن لا يكون هذا العرف مخالفا لشرع الله.
And the second is that this urf or this custom not be something that is contradictory or against the religion of Allah.
الآن أنتم تلاحظون أن أعراف الناس مختلفة.
And now you might notice that the customs of the people are different.
في الملابس، في الكلام، في السلام، في الطعام.
And the things that they wear and in what they say and in giving salams and in the foods that they eat.
كيف تغديتم اليوم؟ كيف تغديتم اليوم؟
How did you all eat lunch today? Or
هل تتغدون هكذا في أمريكا؟
Do you all eat lunch like that in America?
تجلسون على الأرض وكذا؟
You sit on the ground and like this?
هذا من العرف الذي يختلف من مكان إلى مكان.
These are from the customs that differ from place to place.
العرف يا إخوان تكلم فيه الشيخ رحمه الله بكلام واضح فقال.
This custom or this urf, my brothers, the Sheikh, he has spoken about it with a very clear and obvious statement. So he said,
عليه الصلاة والسلام كل حكم حكم به الشارع ولم يجعل له حدا فحده يرجع فيه إلى العرف.
He said every ruling or every judgment that the legislator has placed and he did not set borders or boundaries for it, then verily the thing that sets its boundaries is that custom or that urf.
أدلة هذه القاعدة كثيرة جدا.
The evidences about this principle are very plentiful.
ولذلك لعلنا نرجع الكلام عليها أو تكملة الكلام فيها إلى ما بعد الصلاة إن شاء الله.
And for that reason we might postpone the conversation about it until that which will come after the salah, inshallah.
هنا في شاي وقهوة وفي حلويات فطاير حق الأخوة جزاهم الله خير.
Allah, he said we have some qahwa and some sweet